Hi there! Today, we will be discussing all about Jose Rizal at the University of Santo Tomas. We all know that Jose Rizal is a smart, multilingual, and a very well-educated person. He became one of the most influential and aspiring heroes to the Filipino people. He was born in a wealthy, well-known Filipino family. Jose Rizal was considered as our greatest hero in the Philippines because of his patriotism and devotion towards his country. His persuasive writing, novels, and propaganda, and because of the significance of his execution. So now, let us know about the journey of Rizal's education. When he was 11 years old, Rizal entered the Ateneo Municipal de Manila, where he completed the vocation course in surveying. After graduating with the highest honors from Ateneo, Rizal had to go to the University of Santo Tomas for higher studies and took his BA course. So, the BA course is the Bachelor of Arts. So, the Bachelor of Arts course during the Spanish time was equivalent only to the high school and junior college courses today. So, it merely qualified its graduate to enter a university. Both Don Francisco, which is his father, and Pasiano, his older brother, wanted to set to pursue higher learning in the university. But Doña Tidora wasn't agreed. Dili siya agree na si Jose mo adto magskila sa Santo Tomas, University of Santo Tomas, because he knew what happened to Gamborsa. So ang kaning Gamborsa, I will just give you a short kanang story or like happenings kung unsay nahitabo sa Gamborsa. So, the Cavite mutiny led to the persecutions of prominent Filipinos. So, there are tulo ka secular priests, which si Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, who would then be collectively named Gamborsa. So, muna silang gitawag na Gamborsa, ang tulo ka secular priests. Were tagged as the masterminds of the uprising. So, the priests were charged with the treason. So, ang kaning mga priests na charged sila for treason and seditions by the Spanish military tribunal. So, our ruling believed ko no to be part of a conspiracy to stifle the growing popularity of Filipino secular priests and the threat by the post to the Spanish clergy. So, ang Gamborsa were publicly executed by Garrote on the early morning, so on February 17, 1872 at Bagumbayan. So muna siyang naheld ang pre-executions of the three secular priests. So muna siyang nahitabo sa Gamborsa. Muna dili mo allow si Doña Tidora na adto mag-eskwela sa University of Santo Tomas si Jose Rizal because sa nahitabo lagi sa Gamborsa, which is katong pre-executions of the three secular priests. So, here, variously, they opposed the idea and told her husband. So, ang giingon ni Doña Teodora, kang Don Francisco na, don't send him to Manila again. He knows enough. So, if he gets to know more, the Spaniards will cut off his head. So, if dagan pag maluran si Jose Rizal, dagan pa siya makatunan, ma-discover, dagan pa siya knowledge input. So, patyon siya sa mga Spaniards. Putlan siya ulo. So, muna ganahan si Doña Tidora, mabutang nga to si Jose Rizal. Because he wanted Jose Rizal to be safe. So, Don Francisco kept quiet and told Pasiano to accompany his younger brother to Manila. So, despite their mother's tears. So, si Don Francisco, nagkilom-hilom na siya, wala lang niyagi saba-saba sa lain. And, yagi pada si Pasiano to be the guider of Jose Rizal during his studies nga to sa University of Santo Tomas. So, we already know na who is Pasiano. So, Pasiano to Rizal's life. He is our national hero's older brother. So, he serves as Rizal's guardian while the latter was studying in Spain. So, Pasiano was a huge influence to Rizal's life because he would constantly send money to Spain and i-update young brother if it is in a safe place, kung okay lang ba. So, you can see that Pasiano really loved his brother Rizal. In April 1877, Rizal was then nearly 16 years old, so matriculated in the University of Santo Tomas, taking the course on philosophy and letters. So, he enrolled in this course, ni-enroll si Jose Rizal sa philosophy and letters for there are only two reasons. So, first is his father, like, so ganahan niya papa sa philosophy and letters mo nang iya gipatok up si Jose Rizal ana na course, and also he was still uncertain as to what career to pursue, so naglibog pa siya kung unsay career na iya kuhaon. And also the first year term 1877 to 1878, Rizal also studied cosmology, metaphysics, theodicy, and history of philosophy. So dagan jud siya gistudihan. So Jose Rizal is very smart person.
As what the previous reporter said kanina, in the school year 1877, he enrolled in philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas. While he was studying at the UST, in the same year, he returned to Ateneo. Kay lagi, loyal siya sa Ateneo and took up a one-year vocational course which is surveying. Being the child of a family of wealthy landowners, Jose Rizal decided to study for a degree in land surveying and assessment at the Ateneo. He completed the surveyor's course and passed the final examination for the course when he was 17 years old. So 17 siya ato na time na nakapasar siya sa surveyor exam. He excelled in all subjects in the surveying course, obtaining gold medals in agriculture and topography. He was awarded the title Perito Agrimensor or Expert Surveyor. But because 17 siya ato na time na nakapasar siya sa surveyor exam, wa siya tagai og license to practice the profession. On November 25, 1881, at the age of 20, the title Expert Surveyor was granted to Rizal. And on December 30, 1881, he got his license and was granted na to practice the profession, which is a surveyor. And did you know that Rizal is the first Filipino surveyor? If wala ka kahibaw, karon kahibaw na ka. Na-mention po ganina sa previous reporter na during the first term ni Rizal sa UST, he studied cosmology, metaphysics, theodicy, and history of philosophy. Unya, he finished a year in philosophy and letter also. After ana, he decided to shift from that course to a medical course. So, basin na kanahon na muna sa kadaghan ng kurso nga no medical course na gipili ni Rizal. So, mo ni ang razon nga no medical ang iya gipili na kurso. First is he received the Ateneo rector's advice to study medicine. Ang ikaduha is he wanted to be a physician so that he could cure his mother's failing eyesight. If you are wondering why the advice of the Ateneo rector influenced the decision of Rizal to study medicine, it is because Rizal sent a letter to him, Father Pablo Ramon, the father rector of Ateneo, who had been good to him during his college days and consulted him for a choice of career. So ni-consult si Rizal adto sa father rector of Ateneo. And ang iya gi-recommend is medicine. So mga nang ni-study si Rizal of medicine. Bisan pag ni-shift siya og course, his grades were still excellent. Pero napod siya lower grades. But still, he was the second best student in a class of 7 who passed the medicine course. The Ateneo's boy wonder found the atmosphere at the University of Santo Tomas suffocating to his sensitive spirit. He was unhappy at this institution of higher learning, and naghatag siya og tulo ka rason ngano unhappy siya. First is the Dominican professors were hostile to him. Second, Filipino students were racially discriminated. And lastly, the method of instruction was obsolete and repressive. In Rizal's novel El Filibusterismo, he described there how the Filipino students were humiliated and insulted by their Dominican professors, and how backward the method of instruction was. especially in the teaching of the natural sciences. After finishing the fourth year of his medical course, Rizal decided to study in Spain. He could no longer endure the rampant bigotry, discrimination, and hostility in the University of Santo Tomas. His departure for Spain was kept secret from Spanish authorities, friars, and even his parents, especially his mother, because she would not allow Rizal to go, and even his beloved Leonor. To avoid detection, he used the name Jose Mercado.
Isang magandang pagbati, guro, mga binibini at mga ginoo. Ako nga pala, si Binibining Palco Maria Marbet, nagmula sa seksyong BPED 2A, at ako ang inyong lingkod sa mga oras na ito, na kung saan ating tatalakayin ang mga love life ni Gat Jose Rizal. So ang aking tanong, sino nga ba ang mga ito? Alam niyo ba sino sila? Sa tingin ko, hindi niyo yata alam. Huwag magmadali dahil malalaman rin natin yan. Ngunit bago yan, sino nga ba si Miss L? Or who is Miss L? So in this module 6, it also mentioned the unknown woman named Miss L, who said to have affair with our beloved Dr. Jose Rizal. So ayon sa mga kwento, ang letrang L or si Miss L ay isa sa mga naging affair daw kuno ni Jose Rizal. Pero kwento ra na siya, di pa na siya sure if tinuod ba na siya or dili. So, shortly after losing Segunda Katigbak, he paid court to a young woman in Calamba. So, manana siya diha. Kung hindi nyo na itatanong, sa panahong na busted si Rizal ni Segunda Katigbak, sadyang nabigo siya sa pag-ibig. So, nabigo si Rizal, no? Na siyang dahilan kung bakit binigyang atensyon niya ang isang babae na nagmula sa dili sa Luzon, dili sa Visayas, dili sa Mindanao, kundi sa Calamba. So, usa ka babae nga murag na love at first sight kuno si Jose Rizal. So, kinsa makani siya. And then, in his student memoirs, he called her simply Miss L. He described her as fair with seductive and attractive eyes. After several visits, Jose Rizal stopped pursuing her because of Segunda's sweet memories, and his father was against her family. So later on, makasabot ra mo ana ang story. So ako na siya i-tell later on. So paghintay sad mo diha, paghuwatsay. And then Rizal himself did not give her name. Yes. So take note, it also states nga even si Jose Rizal wala niya panganli kung kinsa jud na si Miss L or Madam L. So which is very interesting, no? Kung kinsa baka ni siya, anak baka ni siya sa mayor, sa Ormoc, or anak baka ni siya sa atong silingan, no? Pero niingon si Marites, wa jud kuno kaila, or wa jud panganli ni Jose Rizal, no? So muna siya timan. So ngayon, naniniwala ba kayo sa true love? Maaaring isa sa inyo ay naniniwala ng true love. Ngunit alam nyo ba ang malahikulong pag-ibig ni Rizal? Kung kaya't tinagurian niya itong true love, sino kaya ito? Maaaring nagtataka kayo kung sino ang babaeng ito. So in this slide, Leonor Rivera, tinagurian siyang Jose Rizal's true love. So on top of being dubbed as Jose Rizal's childhood sweetheart, she is widely considered as the hero's true love. Then, Leonor Rivera was April 11, 1867 to August 28, 1893 of Camiling Tarlac, was the daughter of Antonio Rivera, take note, and Silvestre Bauzon. Leonor's father, who was one of the few persons who conspired in Jose's secret departure to Spain, is a cousin of the hero's father, Francisco Mercado. So, unsay buot pasabot ani? So, no, kunahay libog ta kay English man ni siya, oy.
So, sinasabi rito na tinaguriang childhood sweetheart at ito ang pag-ibig niya kay Leonor Rivera. So, si Leonor Rivera ay pinanganak noong April 11, 1867. Saan siya ipinanganak? Hindi sa Luzon, sa Visaya at sa Mindanao, kundi sa Kamiling, Tarlac. At hindi nyo ba alam na siya ay budhing anak ni na Antonio Rivera at Silvestra Bauzon. So, yun iha siya. At kung hindi nyo rin na itatanong, ang tatay ni Leonor na si Antonio Rivera ay siyang tumulong kay Rizal upang makarating sa Espanya. So siya ang nitabang ni Rizal para muadto siya, para maka-eskwela si Rizal ngadto sa Espanya, para matupad niya ang ihang misyon. At hindi nyo rin na itatanong na siya lang naman ang pinsan ng tatay ni Rizal na si Francisco Mercado. Sa madaling sabi, unsa may ilahang kuan. Sa madaling sabi, si Pepe at si Leonor Rivera ay magkakamag-anak. Dako kaning istoryahon. So later on makasabot rataani.
So, subjectively, considered as a pretty lady, Leonor is commonly described as having wavy soft hair, high forehead, wasteful almond eyes, small and pensive mouth, and charming dimples. She was said to be intelligent and talented, as she could play the harp and also the piano skills, which match her fascinating singing voice. So, unsa man dayto, English man, maramantag na nosebleed. So, kung i-describe ay natin ang hitsura nitong si Leonor, sinasabing siya ay magandang dilag or magandang Pilipina. Magandang dilag ko na si Leonor. At may malambot at mahabang buhok. May mataas na noo, dangas. Ingon biya sila ang dangas kuno kay bright niya, gwapa. Ambot lang tinuod ba na. And then may nakakaakit na mata. No? Dire di ay na love at first sight si Jose Rizal. Nakakaakit na mata. Maliit at cute na mga labi at bibig. At ang pinakapang malakasan kuno ni Leonor, unsa maday ni? Ang kanyang biloy or dimple. So ang iya day dimple bitaw no, malab at first sight bitaw ta ang mga dimple dira kay nice kinakitaon labo na sa babae. And then sinasabing siya rin ay isang matalinong babae. At talentado pa. At sa katunayan, marunong siyang tumugtog ng harpa. Di lang harpa, kundi ng piano. Meron din siyang magandang tinig sa pag-awit. Complete package man ni si Leonor, no? Saan ka pa? Leonor Rivera na, no? Kung kinsa man kahay ganahan dira mangita og baji, so ngadto na lang mo ni Leonor kay complete na kaayo na niya tanan, pero di pa na siya perpekto, ha? So Leonor was a tender as a building flower, kulihiyala at dala Concordia College. So unsay buot pasabot ani? So si Leonor Rivera kuno ay isang kapansin-pansing dilag nang siya ay mag-aral sa dili sa kanang Dilasal, dili sa VSU kundi sa La Concordia College. Kung hindi nyo na itatanong, noong 1880 nagkakilala si Leonor at si Pepe. 13 taong gulang pa lamang ang dalaga nun. So, 13. So, 13 pa ay no, kabata pa ay ni Leonor, no? Kaya naman tinawag siya ni Jose o ni Pepe na munting kasera. Dahil nga anak siya ng may-ari ng isang paupahang bahay para sa mga estudyante sa Intramuros. So, actually, kung hindi nyo na itatanong, mga binibini at mga kapwa at mga ginoo, dalawang Leonor ang niligawan ni Pepe noon. At ito ay sina Leonor Rivera at ang isang Leonor ay si Leonor Valenzuela.
ika nga doble Leonor sister. Pero bago ito ay nakaranas muna si Rizal ng pagkabigo sa pag-ibig kay Segunda Katigbak. Muna to ako gingon ganina na naging unang pag-ibig niya, kaya nga lang ito ay maagang na-engage sa iba. So sad to say, maagang na-engage sa iba si Segunda Katigbak. At ang totoo, hindi rin naman nakapag-encounter, ayon nga sa mga kwento-kwento, ingon daw sila nga kanang hindi daw nakapag-encounter ang mga Leonor sa buhay ni Rizal at maging itong si Segunda Katigbak. So marag kung sakuan pa muna lagi ito imyo ra day ang tanan. Pero nagtuo ta nga true love di ay pero imyo ra di ay murag uyab og murag dili. Ingana na siya. And then secret as the romance was to Leonor's parents, she used pen names in her letters to Jose. She hid from the signatures La Cuestión del Oriente and Timis or Tamis. So unsa man day ni diri nahitabo di ay diri. So ayun na nga ang dalawang Leonor ang niligawan ni Rizal, di ba? Muta ko gingon ganina. Ngunit mas nanaig ang munting kasera na si Leonor Rivera. True love nga kung tawagin. High school students noon si Rizal sa Ateneo nang makilala niya at madate niya si Segunda Katigbak na siyang bumasted sa kanya. At naging kasintahan naman niya si Leonor Rivera nang siya'y nag-board sa boarding house ng tatay nitong si Antonio Rivera na siya namang uncle ni Rizal. Noon, siya naman ay nasa pangalawang taon ng pagkuha niya sa medisina sa University of Santo Tomas at para masikrito ni Leonor sa mga magulang niya na may relasyon siya kay Pepe. So, a little bit kanang kuan di ay insight di ay kanang sa una di ay dili payag ang parents ni Leonor Rivera ni Pepe. So, ang ilang gibuhat kay syempre kung for example no kanang dili gusto sa imong parents magsikrito man jud ka no. So, mausay gibuhat ni Leonor og ni Pepe. Gisikreto nila ang ilang relasyon. Kung kaya't gumamit sila ng mga code or pen names, mga bright jud kay sila no. Gumamit sila ng mga pen names sa tuwing sila ay nagsusulatan. So gigamit na nila sa tuwing sila ay magsusulatan. Magsulat si Pepe and then magsulat pud si kuan kanang Leonor, mag-exchange sila muna ilang gipanggamit para dili kunuhay masabtan ana. Kay Leonor Rivera ay La Cuestión de Oriente. So muna siya ang pin name or code ni Leonor Rivera. Samantalang kay Pepe ay Timis or Tamis. And then record aren't clear on what Jose used in return. Some students dili di ay ang nai-record ko no nga dili jud daw kuno clear kung unsa kuno gipanggamit. So ayon sa mga sabi-sabi rana. Some students kuno jokingly guess that he used pseudonym like Pinsan o ningon ang uban kuno nga kanang maaring gumamit si Rizal ng kanang pseudonym na Pinsan or Kuya Pepe. And then ang inyong border, then ang pinaka-funniest jud kuno nga kanang suggestion so far is ang pamangkin ng iyong ama aka Dakalamba Boy. So no, grabe dig mga pin name. Uy, mara di jud di ay masabtan. Bisag kinsa jud. And then in one Indios street brawls against young Spaniards in Escolta, Rizal was wounded on the head, bleeding and filthy. He was brought home by friends to his boarding house. With tender love and care, Leonor nursed him. His wound was gently washed and carefully dressed, though the band-aid used was a name. So unsay nahitabuan ni diri ang dapita? No, English na pud. So ako na pong Tagalogon. So isang beses ko no nang magkaroon ng karambulan ang mga Indio at ang mga binatilyong mga Kastila sa kalye ng Iskulta, si Rizal ay nasugatan sa kanyang ulo. Siya ay duguan na inuwi ng mga tropa sa kanyang boarding house, kung saan dito ay ginamot at inasikaso siya ni Leonor Rivera. Dito ipinaramdam ni Leonor ang kanyang pagmamahal kay Rizal. So dito, nag-alala siya nito at dali-dali niyang hinugasan ang sugat ni Rizal at binalutan. Walang ibang inasam nitong si Leonor, kundi lagi siyang nasa tabi ni Rizal sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Dahil nga, mahal na mahal niya ang binata. So, ingana ang pagmahal ni Leonor no, ni Pepe, at gusto niya itong inaalagaan at pinagsisilbihan. Subalit, ang lahat ng ito ay parang pader na gumuho. Ouch, kasakit naman lang yun. Kalisod sa pag-ibig dahil ni Rizal, no? So, nang si Rizal ay umalis sa Pilipinas para magtungo sa Espanya noong Mayo 1882, ay hindi man lamang siya nagpaalam kay Leonor sa pangamba rin ni Rizal na baka sa kabataan ni Leonor ay hindi ito magawang magtago ng sikreto at mabunyag kuno ang mga plano niya para sa ating bansa. So sa takot ni Rizal, wala na lang niya inain si Leonor nga moadto na siya og Espanya. Sa kanyang paglisan ay nag-iwan naman siya ng sulat para kay Leonor. Pero hindi naging sapat ito para maibsan ang kalungkutang nadarama niya sa paglisan ng kanyang minamahal. Bisag kinsa man jud no, kung moadto og laing nasod, syempre marag naa jud pighati sa atong kasing-kasing. Bisaya na ha. Dahilan para lagi siyang nagkasakit at laging sumpungin ng insomnia. So mauna ni. At kahit pa sa panahong si Rizal pinagbubuti ang pag-aaral sa Espanya para sa kanyang mga plano, hindi niya kinalimutang sumulat kay Leonor. No, nagsulat paghihapon siya para kay Leonor. Sa totoo, sumulat siya kay Leonor sa wikang Ingles, Espanyol, Francis at Pilipino. So hindi lamang isang wika ang kanyang isinulat, kundi iba-iba para lang kay Leonor. So ganun niya kamahal si Leonor. Nagkaroon sila ng malimit na palitan ng sulat ng pag-ibig. Pagkakilig naman lang yun. Kaya naman, naging palaisipan ni Rizal nang dumating sa point na hindi na sumagot si Leonor sa kanyang mga liham. So no, marag nahibong diha si Rizal nga, ano kahang wala nining tubag si Leonor sa akong mga sulat, na unsa baka ni siya? Ni ana si kanang Rizal. Iyon pala ay sinuhulan ng nanay ni Leonor Rivera. Hagoy ang kontrabida. Sinuhulan ng nanay ni Leonor Rivera ang post office. Hagoy. And then, binilinan ng nanay ni Leonor na ang lahat ng sulat mula kay Rizal ay huwag ipapadala kay Leonor. At ang lahat naman ng sulat ni Leonor para kay Rizal ay huwag naman ipapadala. Dahil rito ay tumabang ang kanilang relasyon ng dalawa. Ang relasyon ng dalawa. Kay sakit isipin, nitabang lang dayon ilang relasyon imbis parat pa to. Kalisod naman lang yun. So no, imagine si Pepe noon ay itinuring na filibustirong nobelista at syempre ayaw mong makasal ang anak mo sa isang rebelde. Kaya naman, inayos ng ina ni Leonor Rivera ang pagpapakasal sa inhenyero ng rilis ng train na si Charles Henry Hipping noong 1890. So, sa paniwalang kinalimutan siya ni Rizal, ay pumayag si Leonor. So, abi niya nga gikalimtan na siya ni Jose Rizal, kaya wala naman nagpadaog suwat. So, nipayag naman yung taon jud si Leonor. Ngunit sinabi niyang na siya'y giingon, ang pagpapakasal na ito ay ikakamamatay niya. Luno, grabe ni Leonor. Nang may isang sulat ni Rizal na nakalusot, napilitan ang ina na ipakita ang lahat ng kanilang pagsusulatan. Itinuloy ni Leonor ang pagpapakasal sa kondisyong hindi na siya tutugtog at muling aawit habang buhay. Ti Aura? Ayon sa mga kwento, sinunog ni Leonor ang mga sulatan nila ni Rizal. Kwento ra na siya. And then 3 taon ang lumipas at si Leonor ay binawian ng buhay dahil sa panganganak sa edad ng 26. Lubos na dinamdam ito ni Pepe ang mga nangyari, kung kaya nagkulong pa siya ng dapitan sa buong gabi. So grabe ang pagka-heartbroken ato ni Pepe kay wa jud siya gawas-gawas kuno sa dapitan ug usa ka gabi. Ang anak niya kamahal si Leonor Rivera. Nahuman na ta sa story ni Leonor Rivera. So let's move on and arita sa story pod ni Leonor Valenzuela. So with the topic, Leonor Valenzuela and Jose Rizal's invisible love letters. So diri makita nato kung or masabda nato kung unsa ba kaning invisible love letters nga gingon diri. So Leonor Valenzuela, she was nicknamed Orang. So mo ni ang kanang pit name ni kanang kuan Leonor Valenzuela. She was commonly described as a tall girl. So taaso ni siya nga baji, maran siya volleyball player, pwede ingana sa siya. And then with Rizal bearing who was Rizal's province mate. So kani si Leonor Valenzuela, usa ni siya sa mga kababayan or province mate ni Rizal. And then she was a charming daughter ni Kapitan Juan at Kapitan Sanday Valenzuela, who were from Pagsanhan, Laguna. So kani siya kanisi kanang Leonor Valenzuela, muna siya ang gitagaan ni kanang Rizal o kanang love notes written in invisible ink. So dili ni siya basta-basta nga pagkasuwat kay pinaagi ni sa kanang kuan. The ink nga gigamit ni Jose Rizal ani is consisted of common table salt and water. So ingana ka special ni si Leonor Valenzuela sa puso ni Rizal sadno. So Orang was Rizal's neighbor when he boarded in the house of Doña Concha Liva in Intramuros during his sophomore year at the University of Santo Tomas as medicine student. So several months later, if you didn't ask, during his sophomore year at the UST, he boarded in the house of Doña Concha Leva in Intramuros. So nahimong kanang nang magsilingan ni si Rizal ug si Leonor Valenzuela. So nahimo silang magsilingan sa kanang during his time in the sophomore year. So nagsilingan ni sila didto. So syempre kung magsilingan magkita gid pirmi kay syempre duol ra og balay. And then Rizal frequently visited Orang's house with or without social gathering. So muna to ako giingon kaganina, syempre kung magsilingan mo magatigo man jud mo kay duol ra kay mog balay. Pwede ra ka mo visit sa iyang balay since duol ra mo kaayo. So si Rizal moadto din na siya permanente bisan pag naay mga social gatherings or wala, moadto jud po na si Rizal sa balay ni Orang. So syempre unsa pa may iyang tuyo ngadto mo bisita gyud ni Orang. Pasipyat lang kunuhay nga kanang naituyo unya mo bisita ra day ito, makita ra day sa dagway ni Orang. And then the proofs that Rizal indeed courted her were the love letters he sent her. So mao na ni ang pinakakuan, ang love letter nga ihatag ni Jose Rizal. His love notes were mysteriously written in invisible ink made of common table salt and water. So di din siya basta-basta nga kanang ink nga gigamit ani niya sa pagsuwat nga sa love letter niya kang Orang. kay gigamitan og common table salt and water, in which munitiman it could be read by hitting the note over a candle or lamp. So invisible letter gid ay siya. So dili siya basta-basta mabasa lang nga pagkita nimo, uy, mabasa maday na akong suwat ni Pulana. Dili. Dapat itungod unay siya og kanang kandila para mabasa nimo ang suwat. Invisible gani. So dili basta-basta nga makita. Invisible siya. Pagkita nimo, syempre tagaan ka dira ag suwat, ikaw nga wa kasabot, maingon ra ka, uy, wa man ni sud, blanco man ni. Pero pag ikaw kasabot ka nga gamitan na og kanang common table salt and water, it means maklaro ra na nimo ang suwat sa kung ipaduol na nimo sa kantila. So that's it. So ang pangutana, ngano man kahatong gisikreto man to nila? Or why would he want to make it secret? Ngano kahang gisikreto man kahato ni Jose Rizal? So many references declare that Urang was Rizal's object of affection, while he was courting the other Leonor. So marara siya kung sakuan pa is pantapal ra ito si Leonor. And then his cousin Leonor Rivera, pantapal ra day kuno siya sa kanang ni Leonor Rivera. Kung sakuan pa marag, kung for example kanang nag-away sila ni Leonor Rivera, muadto din siya ni, muduol din siya ni Leonor Valenzuela. So kung sakuan pag itapal-tapal na di ay sus pagkasakit naman lang yun. And then if this were true, if kato kuno tinuod, then sending invisible love letters would indeed be the smart thing to do, for other people would find them as mere blank papers. So tinuod jud na. Kay kung tinuod to nga kanang igura siya pantapal-tapal di ay ni kanang ni Leonor Rivera, if kunuhay mag-away sila, so unsa may gamit atong invisible love letters ang gihimo ni Rizal? Wala joy gamit. Kay ngano useless gihapon, kay igura day siya himong tapal-tapal. Uy, gamit ang kuan, it symbolized as blank papers. Bisan pag kanang nagsutsuwa to siya tag-as dito ang kanang message, useless ra gihapon ang tanan. So to do a further speculative stretch kono, Rizal was perhaps thinking that if both ladies would become his girlfriends, if kato silang duha, for example lang, nahimong girlfriend ni Jose Rizal, he would not make the mistake of calling any of them by a wrong name. Tinuod jud na. Kay kung tinuod pa to na kanang nauyab jud nila Jose Rizal, ngano man makapanguta na sad ko. Ngano man gitawag man to sila Urang, ug ngano man sad gitawag man to silang munting kasera, nganong gitago man jud ang ilahang mga name or ang ilahang kung kinsa sila. So diha ta maka pangutana sad or sa atong self, if tinuod ba ka nga kanang gilove ba ka ato ni Rizal ang duha ka Leonor? So no, marasad tag maglibog nga medyo natouch na ta sa story ni Rizal, kay kuan jud kanang grabe jud ang ihang pag-ibig jud no sa mga babayi. So mao na to. So Rizal left the Spain. Unexpectedly, he received, so niadto si Rizal sa Spain. So nakadawat siya didto og usa ka letter sa hindi inaasahan from his friend, gikan kung sa iyahang amigo, which is si Jose M. Cecilio or gitawag nga Chinggoy, indicating that the two ladies had an idea that their common denominator was not only their first name. So ang ilaha day common kay dili lang ang ilahang first name. So diri ni nato masabtan ron. So ako basahon ang gamay nga paragraph. Nagpipilit ang munting kasera, which is si Leonor Rivera, na makita si Urang, pero dahil natatakpan ng isang belong puti, hindi naming nakilala nang dumaan ang prosesyon sa tapat ng bahay. Sinabi sa akin ni Urang na sabihin ko raw sa munting kasera na hindi siya kumakaribal sa pag-iibigan ninyo. So dere, makita na unta ko no ni kanang ni Leonor Rivera si Leonor Valenzuela. Ngunit nakatabo ni siya puti nakatabo ni iyang naong, so dili jud siya makita. So mo ay giingon sa sulat. And then naygipaingon si kanang si Leonor Valenzuela nga dili daw kuno siya makipagkaribal or wala siya hindi siya kanang tumututo sa pag-iibigan ni Leonor Rivera og ni Pepe. Kung sila man magkadayunan, sige go, mo na ibot pasabot ni Orang. And then her would-be affair with Rizal could only be either a rebound relationship from Segunda Jose failed affair or an healthy love triangle with the other Leonor in the equation. So no, diri muro na siya nahug og love triangle. So tulo ka babaji and then usa ka laki. So no, pagka grabe naman lang yun sa relasyon sa pag-ibig ni Rizal. So ingana no ka bagtik si Jose Rizal. Okay. So unlike her to kayo, so Orang didn't feel much sorrow upon Rizal's departure. So mao na to akong giingon. Marag kung kani pa si Leonor Valenzuela, marag iya na lang gilit go si Jose Rizal. So wala siya wala siya masakitan katong niadto si Rizal sa Espanya. Niadto siya sa Espanya para mag eskwela ingana. Wala man lang siya na nihilak di pareha ni kanang Leonor Rivera no nga marag gidamdam giniya ang paglisan ni Rizal. And then she was said to have accepted other suitors, attended social parties, and ended up marrying an employee of a trade house. So ang unsa man gibuhat ni Orang, ang iyang gibuhat is iya gilit go si Rizal and then iya gi-marry ang usa ka employee. Sabi sa mga kwento, iya daw kuno gipakasdan ang usa sa mga employee. So mao to kanang iya na lang kuan si Rizal gikalimtan and then nag-focus siya sa kanang pagpapakasal atong usa ka employee. So mo na to ang kwento ni Jose Rizal's, which is gitawag niya Invisible Love Letters ni Leonor Valenzuela. So that's it. So I hope nga kanang nakasabot ra mo sa kwento ng pag-ibig ni Rizal gyud nino. I hope nga kibaw mo sa kanang sa story ni Leonor Rivera og ni Leonor Valenzuela. So grabe biya to marag kung ako sa tinuod lang kuan gyud to kanang marko gikilig nga nasakitan pud sa story ni Jose Rizal. So I hope nga you learned and thank you for listening. Good day everyone. Thank you.
Jose, victim of Spanish officers' brutality. One dark summer vacation night of 1878 in Calamba, when Rizal was a freshman medical student at the University of Santo Tomas, he experienced his first taste of Spanish brutality. He was walking in the street and dimly perceived the figure of a man while passing him, not knowing na katudi ay naman was a lieutenant of the Guardia Civil. He did not salute nor say ugly things, kaya wala siya kaila. With a snarl, the Spanish officer turned upon Rizal, whipped out his sword, and brutally slashed his back. So again, the back of Rizal was brutally slashed by a sword, and ang reason is wa kaklaro si Rizal sa iya, and wala ni salute nor ni greet courteously si Rizal, not knowing na lieutenant of the Guardia Civil di ay to siya. So Rizal reported the incident to General Primo de Rivera, the Spanish Governor General of the Philippines at that time, but nothing came out. There's no action, no punishment to the Lieutenant Guardia Civil that brutally smashed Rizal. And ang rason, kay si Rizal was an Indio and the accused was a Spaniard. The accused was a Spaniard and the Governor General was a Spaniard, so unsa may ato i-expect, diba? wa jud justice na makuan si Rizal ana. Kay ang duha puro Spaniards, siya Indio. Alkansi si Rizal. So wa jud justice na hitabo ato na time. Liceo Artistico Literano, or the Artistic Literary Lyceum, a society of literary men and artists, held a literary contest and offered a prize, which is a silver pen for best poem. Rizal submitted a poem entitled La Juventud Filipino, or to the Filipino youth, and his entry won the contest. He wrote this poem when he was 18 years old. Rizal's prize-winning and inspiring poem of Flawless aimed to implore the Filipino youth to rise from the indolence, to let their genius mind fly swiftly the wind, and descend with art and science to break the chains that have long bound the spirit of the people. La Juventud Filipino is deemed a classical piece of Philippine literature for reasons that Spanish literary authorities recognized it as an impressive poem written in Spanish by a Filipino, and it was the foremost literary piece to display the nationalistic belief that Filipinos were the fair hope of the fatherland. So that was one of the literary works of Rizal, the La Juventud Filipino. Other literary works of Rizal are Abd el-Aziz and Muhammad and ALMRP Pablo Ramon. Abd el-Aziz and Muhammad was an epic poem written by Jose Rizal and declaimed by a certain Manuel Fernandez on the night of December 8, 1879, in honor of the Ateneo's Passiones. It recalls the struggle between the Spaniards and the Moros in Spain. Jose Rizal truly loved his alma mater Ateneo as well as his professors, so he wrote a poem for one of them, entitled ALMRP Pablo Ramon. He wrote this poem as a lovely tribute to the very Reverend Pablo Ramon, the rector of the Ateneo, who had been so kind and helpful to Rizal. The poem was written on the occasion of the rector's birthday.
Champion Filipino student. So, Rizal was the champion of the Filipino students in their frequent fight against the arrogant Spanish students who were often surpassed by the Filipino in classwork and insulting. So, ilang insult ang ilang brown classmates. So, the Spanish students insult the classmate of Rizal as Indio or Chongo. So, ang brown classmates ni Rizal was called as the Indio or Chongo. In retaliation, the Filipino students called them as Castilla or Bangus. And hostility between these two groups of students, often between kanina students ang Filipino students and the Spanish students, have this kind of argument. So often exploded in angry street rumbles. So nag-away sila. And in 1880, he founded a secret society of Filipino students in University of Santo Tomas. So ang called di Kampanyarismo. So ang kanang Kampanyarismo day muna siya ang Secret Society of Filipino Students sa University of Santo Tomas. And then ang kaning member sa Kampanyarismo or comradeship, gitawag na siya og Companions of Jeho. So whose members were called as the Companions of Jeho, ang kaning members ani sa Kampanyarismo. So the objective of the society is to fight against Spanish students. So muna objective sa mga Filipino students is to fight against the Spanish students because they were bullied sa mga Spanish students. They were called as the Indio or Chongo, and the Filipino students are called as the Castilla Bangus. So they were bullied by the Spanish students. So ni fight back pod ang Filipino students. Scholastic records of Jose. Jose Rizal's grade in the first year of the philosophy course were all excellent. They were not impressive in the 4 years of his medical course and reflected on his grades. So Ateneo's boy wondered, found the atmosphere at the University of Santo Tomas suffocating to his sensitive spirit. So he was unhappy at these domination institutions of higher learning Kay, for some reason, ang mga Dominicians professors were hostile. When we say hostile, mo na siya mga naipagdumot. So, pagdumot, na siya pagdumot sa kang Jose Rizal. So, the Dominican professors na ipagdumot sa kang Jose Rizal. Second is the Filipino students were racially discriminated against by the Spaniards. So, kaganina, as you can see, the champion Filipino students, nga rin na topic is, ang Rizal, the Filipino students has a fight against the Spanish students because they were bullied. Gibully man ang mga Filipino sa mga Spanish students. They were called as the Indio Chongo, ang mga brown classmates. Then, ang Filipino students were called as the Castilla Bangus. And then, the Filipino student wants to fight back. So, dili dyan pwede magpadaog-daog. And also, the methods of instructions, ang mga methods and instructions was very obsolete and repressive. So, okay, I will be showing the Jose Rizal's scholastic records. So, natangari, philosophy and letters. And then, sa iyang first year to fourth year, is nag-took up na siyang medicine. So, 1877 to 78, philosophy and letters, ang subject na gi-took up is cosmology and metaphysics, theodicy, history of philosophy. So, excellent tanan, good yung performance. And then, here in 1878 to 79, nag-start na siya kanang ni-transfer siya o kanang course na medicine, which is the physics. Ang yung mga subjects is physics, chemistry, natural history, anatomy 1, and dissection 1. They were fair, excellence, and good. 1879 to 80, second year, anatomy 2, dissection 2, physiology, private hygiene, public hygiene, all of them is good. So, good yung performance sa kanana subject. 18 to 80 to 81, 1880 to 81, general pathology, therapeutic, surgery, they're fair, excellence, and good. 1881 to 1882, medical pathology, surgical pathology, and obstetrics. So, tanan is very good. So, muna to siya, na main reason nga no, naapektuhan pod ang performance sa medicine field ni Jose Rizal. So, mo to ako gingon ganina na ang Dominican professors were hostile to him, and then the Filipino students were racially discriminated against by the Spaniards, and lastly, the method of instructions was obsolete and repressive. So, muna siya mga rason po, or mga rason nga nun apektuhan po ang performance ni Jose Rizal sa iyang medicine course. So that would be the end of our discussion for today about the Jose Rizal at the University of Santo Tomas. So I hope you learned something of our discussion. Thank you and God bless.